From the book of Mark 8:24, we hear these encouraging words. And he looked up and said, I see men walking as trees. This is how I see it. A program of truth, hope, and faith with Pastor Roderick D. McClintock of the Dream Center in Pearland, Texas, a teacher of the Word. Brace yourself now for just a word you haven't heard.
Well, this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to another podcast of How I See It. This is definitely something that I think we need to talk about in the world that we live in today. And today we will talk about judge not. Yes, judge not. You see, we're all familiar with the 7th chapter of Matthew and the 6th chapter of Luke, where it talks about judging not, and it urges listeners to be mindful of their judgments of others, emphasizing the importance of self-reflection and forgiveness. You see, this, my brothers and sisters, highlights the idea that people will be judged by the same standards that they use to judge others. This core message, the very core message of this topic today, is really to avoid hypocrisy and self-righteousness, and to prioritize humility and self-compassion. Listen, my brothers and sisters, judgment seems to be rampant in not only the secular world, but I have a problem when it has crept into what we call the church, right? The church really is us, the flesh. Yes, the flesh, that is really the church. The building is where we usually come to gather. But going to gather as a Christian believer, having to worry about what's on my back, the clothes, my hair, the makeup, the skin, the skin shoes, all of those things I have a problem with, because judging in the gathering place is the reason we cannot fill up this day what we call the churches, because we are so concerned about what one has on, what one has done the night before. Isn't that the whole purpose of the gathering place? Is to gather together about spiritual things, about what God has done, and to go into the world to compel them to come into this place we call the church. My brothers and sisters, I want to give just a few key points today. One is the principle of reciprocity, where Jesus teaches and he emphasizes that our judgment will be returned to us in kind. Just as we measure our judgments, so will we also be measured. My brothers and sisters, I want to tell you today that if the church is going to move into the place that what we've read Jesus established, we're going to have to realize that we're going to have to go to places where they're not going to smell like you. We're going to have to go into places where they're not going to dress like you. This is why we have a total disconnect between the world and the church, as we call it, because they're not going to be squeaky clean like you, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Bishop, Mr. Apostle, Mr. Pope, Mr. Whoever. They're not going to come in with the red robe with jewels. They're not going to come in with the flashy ring of a bishop. They're going to come in with a stench. And this is why David was so important to me, because he came as a shepherd boy with smelly outer garments. He stunk. He did not smell good, because the job that he had as a shepherd had to deal with stinky sheep. You sit in your building, Mr. Pastor, Mr. Bishop, Mr. whomever, and expect people to come in with no problem, with no smell, with no issues. You want the tithes, but you don't want the stench. Lord, help me this morning. I'm going to get kicked off the air, because those people, the bishops, the pastors, the people who are all holy roller, want the money, want the tithe, want the offering, want the accolade, want the big name, want the big church, but don't want the big problem. You must, my friend, relinquish your throne, because in this world that we live in, you're going to have to deal with all kinds of issues and problems without judging the people. The second thing I want to mention today is the importance of self-reflection. Recognizing self-reflection encourages individuals to look inward and to examine their own flaws before criticizing others. Before you were the bishop, before you were the pastor, before you were in a position to try to criticize or to judge other people, you were just a regular somebody. Don't forget where you come from, Reverend. Don't forget where you come from, Bishop. Don't forget where you come from, Superintendent. Yes, to speak on your brother's eye, which is a metaphor, highlights the need to address one's own shortcomings first. In other words, don't forget that you had a plank in your own eye. Yes, my brothers and sisters, hypocrisy and self-righteousness can creep in with titles and positions. Lord, help me this morning. See, the topic this morning warns us of the dangers of hypocrisy, where individuals are quick to point out the faults of others while ignoring their own. You know, we're very short-minded. Before you got your settlement from the car accident, before you got that big promotion, you were quick to forget that had it not been for that or those occurrences, you would still be a regular nobody. Yes, judge not, for ye be not judged. We need to forgive. And the need for forgiveness, my brothers and sisters, is important. Jesus teaches us and encourages us to have a mindset of forgiveness, both toward others and toward ourselves. What if Jesus did not forgive us of our sins? Yeah, think about that for a moment, preachers. What if he did not forgive us for the money laundering in the church? The den of thieves in the church. You know, the $300 lines, give this, and $400 lines and give this, and by the sprinkling of by the water, by the gallons. If you give this amount of money, we're going to give you some holy water. Listen, 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 listen. The gimmicks and the game days are over. People done picked up on what's going on here. You must accept God's people as they are. I know you're not going to like this morning, and I'm sure you're going to log off and not come back. That's fine. The truth of the matter and the place and how I see it, if you're going to do true ministry, you're going to do it the right way. You're going to have to learn, my brothers and sisters, that just because someone may have done you wrong or you may have felt wrong does not give you the segue of returning the same measure. You must understand that just because you are here today does not mean that God cannot bring you down today. This is why you must not judge, because the same measure of judgment you have for someone, when your day comes, and listen to me, my brothers, and listen to me, my sisters, your day will come. And when that day comes, you must remember what you did to others can surely come back to you. This is the call to humility, where it promotes both humility and compassion. Urging individuals to approach others with understanding and empathy rather than judgment. I don't know about you, my brothers and sisters, but there have been many times that I have felt the empathy for people that I had no clue who they were. Didn't know them from Adam or Eve, had no clue of who they were. But because I put myself in their shoes, I feel tears welling up in my eyes. I feel a heart of compassion to want to help them. I don't judge them because I've myself been homeless. I know the feeling. I myself have had body hygiene issues because I couldn't take showers and baths. I understand. And this is why you've got to be careful, because one day you're on the mountaintop. Lord, it only takes one phone call, one email, one text message for you to drop below the standard in which you were so accustomed to. You better be careful on how you judge people, because your day is coming. You've got to have some empathy. You've got to have some humility. And if you're not careful, the day that comes for you where you're expecting people to be there for you won't come. So again, my brothers and sisters, based upon the Word of God, the topic today doesn't discourage all forms of judgment, but rather calls for judging according to God's standards of righteousness. Yes, in essence, the judge not sermons that people, pastors preach, my brothers and sisters, is a powerful call to examine our own hearts, practice humility, and extend grace and compassion to others. It encourages a more loving and forgiving approach to interpersonal relationships. You see, that piece right there that says it extends grace and compassion to others is what I believe is missing in the organized church today. When you have people on your team, people in your circle, preachers, who spread gossip and mess and judgment of others. This is what's keeping your church from growing. You got a church full of messy people. People these days are not careful of not to judge those who come in, who may be homeless, who may not have money, who may have lost their job. Whatever the situation is, you've got a lot of people in the church who don't understand how to have grace and compassion for people. So while you're riding in your nice, highly priced vehicle, while you are living in your highly priced residence, there are people who cannot even fathom living in a gated community. Why don't you teach them, my brothers and sisters, fellow preachers and pastors, why don't you have credit repair people come in and teach your people how to get their credit together so that they can get a house, so that they can get a nice BMW, Mercedes, or whatever the high cost cars that you're riding in. Why don't you bring in people to help them instead of judging? Yeah, they have a stink. They have a smell. Yes, they have a stench. That's because they can't pay their water bill because they're paying your tithe and your offering. I'm not saying giving you money is wrong. I'm just saying you can't put the pressure on them to give, and they can't take care of themselves. I know that's going to be against a lot of preachers' theology about tithe and offering. I'm just saying, have some grace, have some compassion, have some empathy for those who are trying to do the right thing to get to the right place where you are. Yeah, have some empathy. So all I'm saying to you today, and I'm going to get off the air here, all I'm saying to you today is judge not. Church people, folk who call themselves holy and righteous and sanctified and filled and all of the speaking of the tongues, judge not. So that when your day come again, I say it, your day is coming. Judge not. Have some grace. Have some mercy. Have some empathy for people. Well, I've run out of time, but definitely not out of topic. Listen, if you or anyone would like to be on the show, listen, you can email us at admin, ADMIN, at howiseeitpodcast.com. That email address is admin, ADMIN, at howiseeitpodcast.com. Listen, we are so happy to have you with us. We are looking forward many a times to ensure that you get the raw version of how I see it with a little class. But again, we may disagree. You may not understand exactly my point of view, just like I may not understand yours. But this is why we come on to dialogue and have some type of conversation. Well, again, until this time next week, next Monday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, we look to see you again next week. Have a blessed and happy Monday.
You have just heard How I See It, a program of truth, hope, and faith with Pastor Roderick D. McClintock of the Dream Center in Pearland, Texas, a teacher of the Word. Pastor McClintock shares, it's an illusion causing your confusion, and welcomes your support and contributions, which can be made to the Dream Center, P.O. Box 3475, Pearland, Texas 77588, or Cash App at $ Roderick McClintock. For information, visit our website at www.thedreamcenter.org. Join Pastor Roderick D. McClintock every Monday and brace yourself for just a word